Okay. Okay. Feel like that's pretty good. Yeah. I think we're finally good. Okay. We're back. Been a little while since our last video. Yeah. How does this thing go again? Hey there, Tim friends, and welcome back to the channel after so long. Man, it's been a while, like quite a while, and I do apologize for that. But there's a lot of reasons why that is, most notably of which I just returned from a 3-week trip to Japan. Yes, that's right, I was back, and if you saw my comment in the Discord or Instagram or whatever, I tried to talk a little bit about it. Also the comment in my last video, the 4-hour ambient video. Feels like so much has happened since the last update kind of video. And was working on just like a ton of stuff, and I think kind of just got in over my head, plus like planning for the trip and everything. And so this video is just gonna be chill, laid back. We're gonna talk all about the trip. That's gonna be the first and foremost thing. I'll put some timestamps below so you can skip around. If you don't even care about this part, just skip right ahead to the Japan stuff. As a little primer, let me tell you sort of how the video will be structured. I'm doing this off the cuff as usual, but I'm gonna talk about the Japan stuff first and foremost because I think that's the most interesting, and I wanted to get all of my thoughts down before I go off and celebrate Christmas with the family and everything and like forget a bunch of stuff that happened, because we got back, today is the 23rd that I'm recording this. We got back the 18th, so it's been 5 days. So I'm trying to get my thoughts down while everything is still fresh, and I still have, the most vivid memories in my mind playing back. I still wake up confused sometimes about like where I am and what's going on. So then after that, after we talk about all the Japan stuff, I would love to give a little bit of an update about like what's been going on in my life, why there were no videos aside from the 4-hour ambient video, and what that whole thing was about, and maybe talk a little bit about the projects I was working on. I don't know, they're not really ready yet. But yeah, there's a lot to get through. So why don't we just start with all the Japan stuff? Let's jump into it, So yeah, I'll be right back, I guess. So we are back from our 3rd trip to Japan, 3rd trip ever, and 3 weeks, once again, third 3-week trip to Japan. Wow. I know it may seem like we go all the time. I mean, I have gotten comments from friends and family like, oh, you're going back to Japan, weren't you just there? It's like, no, not actually. It's actually been 2 years since our last trip to Japan. And the reason why I can still post Tim in Japan episodes is because it just takes me a really long time to make videos, and that footage is kind of old. Which I still need to finish Tim in Japan season 2, where we travel all through Tohoku. But we'll get more into the life stuff later. Let's just focus on this trip right now, because that's the main topic of this video. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna be cutting in clips from the trip, because I have like so much footage. That's gonna be season 3 of Tim in Japan. Eventually. I really do hope to make a lot more videos this upcoming year, or at least catch up on the Tim in Japan, Tim in Europe tracks, plus like some new ideas for video essays. Anyway, so as a brief overview of what we did during this trip in Japan, we flew into Tokyo, spent 1 week in Tokyo, our base in the Kita Ikebukuro area, went all around Tokyo, did a bunch of shopping. Then we rented a car and drove to Fuji-san, Mount Fuji, the area. Stopped at some service areas along the way and just drove all around Fuji-san, which was incredible. Then we drove back into Tokyo and took a flight all the way up to Hokkaido, New Chitose Airport, and then took a train in to Sapporo and stayed in Sapporo, which is the capital of Hokkaido. We stayed there for 3 days, and then we took a bus. We took a bus to Niseko, the Niseko area, which is like a ski resort area. Stayed at the Park Hyatt Niseko Hanazono, which was so beautiful. Oh my god, amazing. Did some snowboarding there, and then took a bus back to New Chitose Airport. Flight was delayed 4 hours. Flew back into Tokyo, arrived around like midnight, took literally the last train into the city, stayed at Oakwood Apartments and Hotels, which is in the Azabu area, or Minato City, which is sort of like the southern part of the Tokyo metropolitan area, just south of Ginza and Roppongi, near Tokyo Tower. And then that was where we spent our last week, did a whole bunch of shopping, Christmas shopping, etc. And so that's the sort of general overview of what we did on this trip, our third trip to Japan. So let's jump in and talk about what happened. So starting with week 1, we flew in to Narita Airport and took the express train into Tokyo to our first destination, which was this house we rented in Kita Ikebukuro, which is North Ikebukuro, which is basically like the northwest region of the Tokyo metropolitan area. It's just outside of the main city center. Ikebukuro is like firmly city, like Tokyo City. So Kita Ikebukuro Kita means north. So Kita Ikebukuro is actually only one stop away from Ikebukuro, which is very convenient, but it's still firmly the suburbs, at least where we stayed. And the house was gorgeous, like wow. It was so amazing and well furnished and felt like very new and clean and safe and secure. Well, I mean, everywhere in Japan is pretty safe and secure, but really, really nice furnishings, really, really nice, pretty much everything. Like the fanciest toilet I've ever used was at that Kita Ikebukuro house. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's fancier than the toilets at the Park Hyatt. It's fancier than the department store toilets. This thing has a screen that folds out automatically when you sit down. Of course, has an auto opening lid, the spritzing of the toilet bowl before you sit down, and all the bells and whistles and functions you could want, plus this auto rotating screen that has like little animated icons and crazy stuff. Heated toilet seat, of course. Man, that was the fanciest toilet I've ever used, and I still miss it to this day. But that's what vacation's for, right? The good stuff. You get the good stuff on vacation. That's why it's vacation. It can only be once in a while. You can't be vacation every day, then nothing's ever a vacation anymore. So yeah, so anyway, the house, beautiful, gorgeous. I'll give a full tour in whatever episode that happens to be. And the location was awesome. Like, it was about a 10-minute walk to the station. The station is very like local kind of station, and the train tracks run across right in front of it. So if you want to cross, you have to wait when the trains come, which is often and numerous. So sometimes you might be waiting for like 10 minutes just to cross. But they do have a little underground walkway that just goes right past the train tracks, which is like fine, but also kind of annoying because you have to walk down a couple flights and then walk up a couple flights. But hey, exercise, am I right? But yeah, so aside from that though, it was really convenient being only one stop away from Ikebukuro, which is like huge main downtown Tokyo hub, which sort of piggybacking off of that point, Ikebukuro. Amazing, fantastic place to do some shopping, sightseeing, eating, etc. All the stuff you would normally do in Shinjuku, Shibuya, Ginza, etc. Ikebukuro, check it out. Still, obviously, very busy. Ikebukuro Station is one of the busiest stations in Tokyo, which means it's one of the busiest stations in the world. But just felt a little bit less congested. than like Shibuya and Shinjuku, a bit less touristy. You know, there's still tons of crowds, but it has like everything. It has all the major brands, all the major stores, gigantic malls, thrift shops, amazing restaurants. You know, basically whatever you want, it's also in Ikebukuro. And being so close to our home base for that first week, we explored a lot of Ikebukuro, and we checked out some fancier shops this time. Like, I don't know if you guys know what like the Japan fashion scene is like, but as we get a little bit older, as we're looking for a more adult look, we kind of started looking at these little bit higher price tag stores. I myself didn't really end up buying anything. It's still a little bit too pricey, I felt, for me, but not because the quality is bad, just, you know, I just am not there in my fashion journey yet. But stores like Beams, United Arrows, Public Tokyo, I forget the names of them, but like the kinds of stores you can find in Parco. Parco is like a sort of upscale fashion mall, department store kind of deal. Like it's a mall that houses a lot of higher end sorts of stores. So we did a lot of shopping at Parco, which was fun. I got new glasses, which was cool. Just like before, well, I don't know if I've even talked about it before, but I bought glasses at this place called Jin's. And they actually started creating outlet stores here in America. I haven't checked the pricing. I imagine it's more expensive. Everything here is, and it's quite affordable in Japan. The first time I got glasses from them, which was 2 years ago, I saw they had like 1 day turnaround. And so I bought glasses, but I have a very high prescription. I'm like -7 basically in both eyes. Yeah, I know it's a lot. For reference, -10 means you're legally blind. So what happened was when I got those lenses with the 1 day turnaround, they only offer one type of lens if you do the 1 day thing. And so the issue was that those lenses, because my prescription is high, were like really thick. And when I would put on the glasses, I could kind of start seeing the curvature of the lenses, which is like very annoying. So this time I paid the extra and got the thinnest lenses they have, which are like kind of astounding how thin they are considering how big my prescription is. And I like the new frames I got. I like these new lenses. They have an anti-reflective coating just naturally built into the price. I didn't pay extra for that. I didn't pay for like transitions or progressives or any of the other like fancy lens stuff. I just got their sort of regular lens, but I got it the super thin kind. Though you must note that it does take a few days for that to happen. Luckily we had 3 weeks there, and that was like one of the first things we did. So I came back like a week and a half later and they were ready for pickup, no problems at all. And it cost roughly 20,000 yen, which in US dollars is like 150, which honestly, compared to the glasses here with my prescription, considering how thin they are and the frames are nice and they fit, you know, Asian faces, like amazing deal, incredible deal. And they came with this cool little soft case. They offer the hard case or the soft case. I just liked the feel of the soft case. And then I bought a hard case at Loft, which has this cool dinosaur on it. Hopefully you're seeing that on the screen right now. And yeah, so glasses, that was really cool. Shopping at Parco, shopping in Ikebukuro in general. Moving on to the next highlight. One day we went out to go just check out this coffee shop in Shinjuku called All Seasons Coffee. And honestly, not really much to write home about there. Cool place, but just, you know, good coffee, nothing crazy. But what we did that was really cool was we just happened to pass by Shinjuku Gyoen, which I don't know if you are familiar with, but Shinjuku Gyoen is a gigantic park. It's so massive, like many acres, many kilometers across. And it's this just gigantic park right in the middle of Shinjuku. And we just so happened to pass by on like literally the peak fall season leaf changing colors. In Japanese they call it momiji, which means like fall leaf viewing. And we just so happened to pass by and we're like, let's go check it out. We've never been before. Even though this was our third time in Tokyo, we had never been to Shinjuku Gyoen. And so we went in, which is kind of cool. You can just use your Suica or Passmo or whatever, your IC card, tap to pay 500 yen. And let me tell you, it's totally worth the price, like roughly $3 US. It's totally worth the price. The park is gigantic, beautifully manicured, incredible views, amazing trees, great place to go if you have like a large group, great place to go if you're by yourself to just chill, hang out, eat a bento, walk around. We didn't even see like probably half or more of the park because it's so massive. I got to do a little bit of a photo shoot there, and the fall leaves, gorgeous, spectacular. Wow, it's like the trees were on fire, like a golden fire, but like in the best possible way. I can't believe we just stumbled into it on like probably the absolute best possible day we could have gone. That's sort of the nice thing about going to Tokyo in the late fall, nearing winter, is that Tokyo is a bit warmer, so the fall leaves come out later. So even though we were there in the beginning of December, that was sort of the peak fall leaf season. And wow, it was gorgeous. We also met up with my wife's family, and then we took them there too because of how beautiful it was. Took some pictures and stuff. It was gorgeous. It was great to meet up with my wife's family. She hasn't seen them since she left the Philippines like 20 some odd years ago. So a little bit of a family reunion in Tokyo. That was nice. But yeah, Shinjuku Gyoen, gorgeous, spectacular, jaw-dropping, dazzling, amazing, beautiful, stunning. Not enough words to describe in this English language. What else? I got like this little cheat sheet of like stories I wanted to tell. So that's what I'm looking at. Oh yeah, so Ramen Matsui. So I don't know if any of you guys are sort of like plugged into Tokyo ramen culture, but as far as I can tell, based on my research, Ramen Matsui is one of the legendary Tokyo ramen shops. But I'm not a total expert, okay? This was just based on my research, based on my findings. And so, I was eagerly checking, I think they use Table Check or Tabelog. Basically any major super popular Michelin star, etc. restaurant in Tokyo uses Table Check or Tabelog or something similar to book reservations in advance. Like basically, if a shop has reached that sort of legendary tier status in Tokyo, you will not be able to just walk in unless they only take walk-ins, in which case you'll probably be waiting for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours, whether you get there before opening or after. Anyway, Ramen Matsui reservation only, which was very nice because you don't have to wait in line. So I made a reservation, we showed up. Oh yeah, these two foreigner guys, man, these two guys, we're walking there. And as we're walking there, we hear these two guys chatting with each other, walking with us, speaking English, obviously American. And we finally get to the shop and they got there just briefly before us because we took a little bit of a separate route so we wouldn't have to walk next to them the whole time. And they didn't even know that you need reservations. It's like, how do you know what Ramen Matsui is and then not know you need reservations to get in? So they're kind of like looking around dumbfounded, like trying to see if they can ask someone like, oh, we don't have reservations. Luckily they went away without much of a fuss, but please do not be that kind of tourist when you come to Japan. I gotta say there are rules in place, and you can argue all day long about whether the rules are right or not, but when you're in the other culture, let's please try and respect the rules there. If you want to argue about the rules, there's a time and place for that. But when we're there doing the thing, let's follow the rules. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle with that too, with like meeting up with my wife's family and being late. And just trust me, in Japan, if you make reservations, just don't be late. It's gonna be a problem. So just please be on time. But for Ramen Matsui, going back to the main point I was talking about, we were there on time. We got seated within probably 5-10 minutes of waiting, and you order on the vending machine, and it's like incredible. This place is like Michelin star, legendary status in the ramen world, and the most expensive ramen they serve is 1,800 yen, like $12 US. That's like, you can't even get ramen here in the US for $12. Like, you can't even get the cheap crappy ramen for $12 US. Like, the cheapest ramen you see these days starts at $15. So to eat like one of the best bowls of ramen in my life for $12, I don't know, man. You form your own opinion, but for me, it's like, what are we doing here, man? But yeah, the ramen is incredible. The place is small. I think it seats 6 people maybe on one long bar, and then you have the chef, you know, making the ramen, and he has one assistant she does the reservations and tells you how to order, and she also seems to like scoop out the rice bowls if you order a rice bowl. I got the special, which had chashu, wontons, menma, which is like pickled bamboo shoot, scallops with lime, with like a slice of lime in it, and I think there were a couple other things. It was a deluxe bowl. It was a special bowl for sure. The scallops were perfectly cooked. Just the perfect, you know, soft but still a little bit of a bite to it, you know, that texture. The chashu was gorgeous. It's like cooked to like a medium, and just like every single bite of that bowl is so thoughtfully crafted and curated. It's like an experience, you know, and it's a shio ramen, so it's like very, very light and very, very delicate, but still there's this really, really deep complexity to it. It was just a fantastic, phenomenal bowl of ramen, one of the best I've had in my life. As far as shio ramen goes, it's the best. It's simply the best ramen I've ever had. What else do we got? Oh yeah, the day we went to Chiikawa Park. So first we went to this place called Mermaid Roasters. I think it's called Mermaid Coffee and Roasters, something like that. If you guys know Sam and Victor, they're like super popular Japan vlog YouTubers. I mean, they vlog other stuff too, but I think they're most known for their Japan vlogs. They're like super aesthetic and stuff. Mermaid Roasters is like one of their favorite coffee places, and there are multiple locations throughout Tokyo and a few other locations in Japan in general. So we went to check them out, and this place was really cool, like very eclectic, kind of homey, chill, relaxed vibes. They're super friendly and nice there. They even have like a little bar where they have their different roasts already made, and you can do little sipping tasters, and they like ask you to like what kind of coffee you like, and you know, you can get it like as a latte or just espresso, of course, or like as a pour over, or they call it drip coffee, I think. You know, same difference. And their setup is awesome. Their shop is actually very large. There's a basement floor for seating, and there's a second floor and a third floor, so there's a lot of seating. The atmosphere is very interesting. There's a lot of like sort of weird, eclectic decor, you know, making the place feel very unique. And the coffee was delicious. Whichever roast we got, it was definitely a light roast. I think my beans were from Colombia, maybe Honduras, something like that. But whatever coffee we got was extremely caffeine heavy. We both got a pour over, and we were like wired, man, like buzzing from just that one cup of coffee. So, you know, sipper be warned. Yeah. So yeah, after that, we went to Chiikawa Park, which is like a little kind of like mini theme park that's Chiikawa based. We can only take pictures inside, no videos allowed, but they did allow us to take video when we met Chiikawa and Usagi. That was awesome. Chiikawa is my favorite character, so it was like, I can't believe we got to meet Chiikawa and like hug Chiikawa. Yeah, I have a whole video about like what Chiikawa is if you're interested or want to know more. But yeah, that was really fun actually. Like both my wife and I had pretty, I guess, low expectations going in. Weren't really sure what to expect. We thought it would just be like this kind of thing where you go around and you could just like take pictures of stuff, which it kind of is that way, but everything's really cute and really well thought out. And if you follow the show or the manga, then like everything is like baked in there. It's like a little like guided tour through Chiikawa's world, and getting to meet Chiikawa at the end, we got super lucky because they actually rotate through a bunch of the characters. So to be able to meet Chiikawa was like the best thing. Yeah. And so if you're a fan, I would definitely recommend Chiikawa Park. I think it's like 2,000 yen per person. And honestly, I thought it was totally worth it. I thought it was just going to be a little expensive for what it was, and we just kind of get through it in like 30 minutes. I think we took like a couple hours there, and it was a lot of fun, and we took a bunch of pictures, and it was super cute. So if you're a Chiikawa fan, I would definitely recommend that. And it's located in Ikebukuro's Sunshine City, which is like this gigantic mall. And Sunshine City is really cool. It's like this huge mall, and they have tons and tons of stuff, stores, restaurants. There's a Granif there. Oh yeah, and we stumbled upon this like Komeda coffee like pop-up drink store. I don't know, I think it's a permanent installation, but it just opened recently right before we got there. I'd never even heard of it before, and we just stumbled upon it, and they were selling the Komeda coffee boot, the melon soda boot. Like, how incredible is that? I just got the melon soda float the day before, and I was like telling my wife, if they sold this boot, I would buy it, even if it was like 2,000 yen or something. And it turned out to be, I think, like 2,500 or 2,200 or something like that. And I was just like, kismet, you know, fate. It was like, pew, and I was like, wow, I just have to get this. How could I not get this? And now that I have it and I can use it, and it's like, my big complaint about the melon soda float at Komeda is they put too much ice in it. So it's like you end up getting, you know, the boot is like so big, right? But it's like half ice. You know, it's nice because it keeps the ice cream cold, so like it doesn't melt right away. But it's like, it's so much ice that it feels like the ratio of ice cream to soda is off. And it's like the soda is like the cheapest part of the drink, well, besides the ice. So like, why not just give more soda? You know, I don't know. That's my rant over. I mean, the thing is so cute and so perfect, and it's like, I have no regrets ordering it, and I have even less regrets getting the boot because, wow, phenomenal. Also, the drink we got there was really good. It was like this coffee jelly latte thing. Really good. Just same problem. Too much ice. So if you get like drinks in Japan, iced drinks in Japan, I would say just get the large because they put so much ice in it. You just drink it like all right away. So yeah, I think that's kind of how drinks are in general in Japan. It seems like whenever you get a drink anywhere, the cups are like that big. Even when you get the drink bar at the family restaurants, the cup is just like so small. What's the deal with that, man? I mean, I guess it's like healthier, you know, because you drink less sugar or whatever, but feels a bit like a ripoff. Okay, sorry, had to restart the video. My camera is kind of annoying because it only records in 30-minute chunks, so if I'm hitting that 30-minute mark, I gotta get up and stop it and restart it and blah blah blah. Anyway, back to the stories. So that was like our first week in Tokyo. Obviously we did a lot more stuff, a lot of shopping, a lot of just like walking around, checking stuff out, a lot of Muji. Spent a lot of money at Muji this time. If you don't know Muji, it's like this sort of like, how would you describe it? They sell like everything. I've talked about Muji before in like one of my old vlogs, but like basically the point of Muji is like, it's right in the name, Muji. It's like no brand. Their whole philosophy is like creating high quality basic goods for everyday use. So they sell a lot of clothes, a lot of different kinds of clothes, but they also sell like food, from like curry to coffee, to snacks, to drinks, to everything in between. They sell a ton of like stationery goods. They sell a lot of like household goods. They sell incense. They sell like beauty stuff like sunscreen, lotion, moisturizer, all kind. They sell like pretty much everything under their own brand, their own umbrella of products. And we just love Muji, man. Like every time we go there, basically everything we try, it's like just such good quality, especially for the price that you pay. And like I love how all of their clothing is like non-branded. I bought a bunch of like jackets and stuff there, and my main like puffy jacket that I wore in the really cold weather when we went to Hokkaido was from Muji. Yeah. So probably the next major event that happened was renting the car and heading to Fuji-san. Wow. I had never driven, well, I had prior to this trip, never driven outside of this country. Really, not even outside of like the West Coast. So, word of warning, if you're going to rent a car, do not forget your passport when you go pick it up. Oh my God. I felt like such an idiot. I felt like such a huge, complete dingus. It was the day we were checking out of our place and we went to go pick up the car. We left extra early to get there before they opened because we were renting it right when they opened. We were going to drive back to our place, pick up our luggage, and be off and have plenty of time to do whatever. And so that's what we did. But you know what we did? We packed up all our stuff, we got ready to go, and I said, oh, I don't need to lug my backpack to the rental place because why would I need to do all of that? We're just gonna come back here and pick it up anyway. And you know what was in my backpack? My passport, which of course, I needed it. I brought my license, I brought my international driving permit. I did not bring the passport. Oh my God, I felt like such a moron. So we get there and then we try and check in and stuff and she's like, oh, where's your passport? And I was like, oh my God, I felt like such an idiot. And it was like the morning time, so the trains are busy and it takes like 30 minutes, well, yeah, probably takes about 30 minutes total to get there from where we were staying at. So it took me like an hour to go back. I was like running and I was trying to do the loop thing where it's like you rent a scooter or a bike, but like it turns out to do that, you have to like pass this driving test thing, this little like trivia test to make sure you know the rules of the road. And like I had really bad reception because I forgot the pocket Wi-Fi in my backpack again, so I'm trying to use my crappy like roamless eSIM thing, and it was just like this whole thing. Anyway, finally got the car after like an hour delay, and like I'm like all rattled at this point, but luckily the people were like very nice and very kind and very helpful. And so I finally get the car. By this time my wife is waiting back at the house because like we're past checkout time. We just both wanted to make sure that like we're not infringing on like the rules. So anyway, I have the car, I'm driving by myself, I'm trying to use Google Maps because the Japanese GPS is like a whole thing. I'll explain that in a sec. So I'm using Google Maps, but like there's no Android Auto in the car because it's just like a basic car. It does have a screen, it has GPS, but again, that's like a whole thing. So I'm using Android Auto to get there and everything looks different, you know, driving versus being on the train and walking. And so I'm like a little bit confused. And then the dimensions of the car are all funky compared to like what I'm used to. And it's like so small and like the steering wheel is so far over. Like if this is the car, the steering wheel is like right on the edge. So it's like when you're driving, I'm normally used to driving much more in the center. You know, not in the center of the car, obviously, but it's like pushed over from the side. And so I'm used to like giving a lot more room on the side that I'm driving on. But like if I do that, if I do my natural habit, then what happens is the car ends up being way too far left because I'm giving too much space on the driving side. So anyway, if I finally drive back and it's like where our house is located is just like too narrow, so I decide not to do it. So I go to like a nearby grocery store and park there, and I call my wife, and then like I go back and meet her and I help her bring the luggage over. And like luckily it wasn't a busy area and the grocery store was probably only like half a kilometer away. So it wasn't too far of a walk, but man, I was just like so rattled because I felt like such a moron for forgetting my passport. Oh my God. So rough start, really rough start that day, really rocky start. So yeah, anyway, then we get to, we managed to finally, you know, figure things out. And I learned a lot about driving in Japan. Let's talk about driving in Japan for a bit, because wow, like what an experience that was, both good and bad, mostly good, but some difficult things. So first of all, obviously you drive on the left side of the road. And for those of you used to that, that's normal. What's weird about that? But for me, in America, we drive on the right side of the road. So flipping the script took a little bit of getting used to. I never turned into the wrong way. Luckily, that never happened. I was very, very present every time I was turning or you know, going into new places or things like that. So that didn't happen. No accidents, nothing like that. So very good. Happy to report back. Nothing like that happened. But here's the thing about the Japanese car GPS that I'm going to tell you the good things and I'm going to tell you the bad things. Let me tell you, Japanese GPS systems are not made for the English language, or even like Romaji, which is like Romanized alphabet of Japanese writing. It just basically just doesn't work. So you can't really search anything. Like if you just want to go to Costco, you can't just type in Costco. It doesn't work. It's like the really reliable way to do it is to use the phone number. So if you have the actual phone number of the address that you're trying to reach, the way that the Japanese GPS works is it has the addresses and the phone numbers of every location like in the country, at least that is properly mapped. So as long as you have the correct phone number, you can do it. The other way, if we were not able to get the phone number that we did, which was admittedly very cumbersome, but did work. It takes a little bit of extra time, but it does work. You use the zip code. Like there's a spot in the GPS where you can put in the zip. I think it's called the postal code in Japan. And you type that in and then it'll show you the general, you know, postal code of where you're trying to go. And obviously where you're trying to go is in that postal code. So what I did basically was I matched it with my Google Maps screen so that they look the same. And then I just manually moved the pointer on the GPS to where it literally is on the map. And then I said map to this location and I hit start. So, that is something you should be aware of if you ever plan on driving in Japan. The in-car GPS is vastly, well, I don't know about vastly, but it's superior. It is superior to Google Maps. Like Google Maps, when we used it, we found it would sometimes take us in like small roads or like weird roads or like roundabout ways or off the main roads. And it got kind of difficult, especially in areas we're not familiar with, like around Mount Fuji. But like the good thing was those areas weren't very populated, especially when we were driving. So we didn't like run into any other cars or anything. But a word of warning, if you can use the GPS, you should. The in-car GPS will give you not necessarily the most direct route or the shortest route, but it will give you the best route. So we really prefer the in-car GPS when possible, especially when you're going on a long road trip. Use the in-car GPS. It's better than Google Maps. For the most part, it's one-to-one, but especially when you get onto those local roads, Google Maps will start giving you weird directions. So if you can, use the in-car GPS. So we began our journey through Japan, driving, which was totally new and very interesting. And Like, it was demanding, right? I had to be like on all the time, but it was like so fun. Like, it was so cool, man. It was so cool to drive in Japan. We drove a K car, as they're called, which is like the kind of car in Perfect Days, you know, the little boxy car that's like super, super common. You see them all over the place. Like, they use them for businesses. People just have them as their main car. They're generally like the most affordable car in Japan. But like that boxy shape they have is for a very good reason. Obviously they're small because so many of Japan's roads and parking lots and etc. are like very small. But the thing is, the way they're designed, it's like the Scion XB. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It was really popular in North America. But it's like the space is completely maximized inside. So even though the car itself from the outside looks small, when you're inside, it feels pretty roomy. I don't know how it feels in the back seat. Probably not awesome, but I feel like there's a decent amount of legroom. But like as the driver, as like needing luggage and storage space and everything, it was awesome. And you know, living in America, we drive everywhere. And like we always have our car. So we just always like throw crap in the car. You know, you go shopping, throw it in the car. You know, you have water bottle, throw it in the car. You have an umbrella, throw it in the car. Who cares? But it's like when you're walking around Tokyo all day, you have to really consider what you're walking around with, right? Because it's like heavy, it's cumbersome, it's large. You try and eat at somewhere, you don't want to have like giant bags and an umbrella and all that stuff. But when you have a car, it's like, oh yeah, just throw it in the car. It's so nice and convenient. And oh man, the service areas. Japan service areas are incredible. Oh man. We specifically took the longer route to get to Fuji because of the service area. I did a bunch of research and I wanted to find like the best service area experience. And I don't know if this is the best one, but based on my research, Ebina service area, which is on the way to Fuji-san from Tokyo. I think it's also on the way back if you take the same way, but there is a shorter expressway that does not hit Ebina, which is the road we took back because we were just trying to get to the airport. But Ebina service area is so freaking cool, man. Like, I don't know what if your country has stuff like this, but in America we have like rest stops, right? And they just kind of suck, you know. They're like, sure, like in other places there's like Buc-ee's. We don't have Buc-ee's in California, but they're like giant like gas station / grocery stores, like a mega super large convenience store basically. They're supposed to be like really clean and have good food and stuff, but the service areas in Japan, they're just on another level. They're basically like strip malls, like they're these pretty large malls with like legitimate restaurants and shops and souvenir shops and Starbucks and the bathrooms. Oh man, the bathrooms, it's crazy. Like the bathrooms have a TV outside that tells you what stalls are currently available. Then when you walk into the actual bathroom, there are lights outside of each stall. So it's like, oh, this one's currently in use. This one's currently open. And then like when you get inside, the little bidet functions, they look super fancy and cool. Unfortunately, a bunch of them were broken when I went, but I just waited for the one that wasn't. So yeah. And then like I had a katsudon at this like locally popular katsu place where they use like high quality local pork. We tried this famous melon pan, the Ebina melon pan, which, I mean, it was pretty good and it was actually melon flavored. I don't know if it is deserving of its like legendary status. You know, it's in the better end of melon pans I've had, but it certainly wasn't anywhere near the best melon pan ever. Anyway, whatever. They have like special Tokyo banana collaborations. We like Tokyo banana soft serve. They had like what do you call that? Not sky tree. Sugar butter sand tree soft serve. They had a ton of restaurants, different noodle places, Japanese style restaurants, you know, just like so much stuff. They had a bunch of food trucks. Oh man, it's awesome. Incredible amount of vending machines. They had this like whole outdoor area that was like old school Japanese food stalls serving like street food, like takoyaki, yakisoba, yakitori, like so much stuff. It was so hard to choose what to eat. And then from there, we also saw Fuji-san, which was so cool. Then on the way there, we stopped at another service area just real quick, just to kind of check it out, get my wife something to snack on. And then we arrived at our house in Fuji, which, once again, gorgeous, absolutely phenomenal, fantastic house. Like, wow, so modern, so new, so clean. Wooden floors everywhere, heated wooden floors, beautifully modern, aesthetic. All the furnishings were really nice. The appliances were nice. The TV was nice. Heaters in every room, floor to ceiling windows. The bathroom was incredible. The bathtub had like jacuzzi jets and this like waterfall thing that like shoots on your shoulders, and mood lighting. The lowest level of the mood lighting was like a flickering candle. Oh my god, incredible bathroom. I think that has to be the best bathroom I've seen in a place in Japan outside of like the hotel stuff. Like, I think the number one best bathroom ever was Aomori, the Hoshinoya Aomori. Park Hyatt's up there, but wow, especially for like a private house, this bathroom was incredible. It had a washer and a dryer, and then on the roof there's like a stairway to the roof, and it had this beautiful terrace with this incredible jaw-dropping view of Fuji-san. I spent a lot of time up there taking pictures and stuff, even though it was like freezing cold, but it was just so gorgeous. So then the next day I get up early, do a little bit of a photo shoot on the roof, and we headed out. We had this whole itinerary of stuff to do. We first stopped at Oishi Park, which is like probably the most popular Fuji-san viewing spot. Tons of tourists, tons of buses were coming in. It was just like jam-packed full of people. There's an omiyage shop. There's a cafe on the second floor, which was really cool. We bought cremia. Oh yeah, I got cremia, half milk, half chocolate. The chocolate was super chocolatey, so when you mix it with the milk, oh my god, delicious. One of the best soft serves I've ever had. Really cool view from the second floor too. Amazing view of Fuji-san. We got super lucky. Fuji-san was clear pretty much the whole day. But yeah, Oishi Park was cool, but it was also really, really touristy, really packed full of people. So we just kind of pieced out, which is amazing. When you have a car, you can just leave. You don't have to wait for a bus. You don't have to wait for a train. You don't have to walk like 5 kilometers. You just leave. And so we did. We just left. And then we went to this local chain restaurant called Hotomoto. I don't know if it's like a nationwide chain. It was definitely a chain, but even though it was a chain, it was just run by like a bachan and like a jichan in the kitchen. He had like a couple sous chefs. But like, it's pretty cool because you order bentos. There's a gigantic menu where you can order bentos from, but all the bentos are freshly made. It's basically just like a takeout only spot. So we ordered this bento that was like hambagu and rice and a little bit of karage. The bento was awesome. So we took the bento and drove over to Lake Shoji. And this is like way out there. I think it's the least visited, least popular lake in the Fuji area. And when you're out there, it really feels like you're kind of like in a national park. It's very secluded. And when we first got there, we found this little parking lot, which we thought was like the main thing. But if you just drive a little bit further down, there's a whole area where it opens up into like the bay. And you can drive basically right up to the water. It's like all rocks and gravel. But I mean, the K-car managed. It was a little bit scary because it's like the wheels on the thing are so tiny and so narrow. So you can really feel all the rocks. But we didn't like pop a tire or anything, good thing. But I felt like reasonably confident. I mean, it's not like we were super heavy and I was driving pretty carefully and slowly. But yeah, we literally drove right up to the waterfront where there were a couple other cars and people were taking out the kayaks. Well, they weren't really kayaks. They were like these little boats and they're just like there. And I guess you could just take them out if you want. There were a couple people like barbecuing. There was this couple that went there to get their wedding photos taken. And it was like super cold. Like it was like I think like 3 degrees Celsius plus wind chill. So it was like super cold. What is that, like 40 Fahrenheit, something like that? Really, really, really cold. And it was really, really windy. So it's kind of funny because you see like the photographer come out and like the bride and groom, and the bride is wearing her wedding dress and she's wearing this giant like puffy parka over it. And then when they're ready to take the picture, the assistant like takes the jacket off and you could tell she's like freezing, but she has a smile, you know. I mean, it was a gorgeous spot, like really good spot to take wedding pictures, but man, it was freezing. I was like wearing, you know, all my full gear, and so I wasn't really cold, but it was cold out there. We stopped at this local konbini. I got Fuji-san soda, which I don't think is necessarily only in the area, but it was just really cool to drink a Fuji-san soda in front of Fuji-san. We ate our bento in the car, so it was nice and warm, and wow, took some pictures. It was gorgeous, beautiful. I mean, that's gotta be like one of my favorite memories ever in my life. So then we drove over to Lake Motosu, which is like Yuru camp. I made a Yuru camp video. Maybe you saw it before copyright took it. Anyway, I love Yuru camp. I don't know if you guys know what Yuru camp is. Super relaxing, comfy anime about like these high school girls who like love camping, and they're in a camping club. It's super chill, comfy, cozy, relaxing kind of show. And they are one of the reasons that like Lake Motosu was put on the map, because in the first episode and like in a couple other subsequent episodes, they camp there, especially the sort of like main girl, Rin-chan, Shime. And I went there because I wanted to just check it out. Like I wanted to do like a pilgrimage for Yuru camp, and I had no idea. I literally did not know until I got there. But their camp shop, where you can buy permits and stuff to go camping, they converted the whole thing into like a Yuru camp shop. So they had like tons of Yuru camp merch and snacks and all these themed goods, and like they transformed the whole restaurant into like Yuru camp theme. The restaurant wasn't open. I think they close early, like after lunch or something. It's okay, I wasn't going there to eat, but they had so much amazing Yuru camp stuff. I picked up some essentials. You know, I got the Yuru camp volume 1 manga. It's not in my hand, but I'll show you. It'll show up. And man, that was awesome. And of course, took some cool pictures there and stuff. But yeah, so that was like basically our road trip day around Fuji-san, which was like spectacular. Oh man, it was like seriously like a dream come true. I don't know, you know, like I guess it's like one of those things I always imagined, you know, doing. Like in my wildest dreams, I hoped that would be something I could do. So to be able to like literally actually do it was like beyond anything I could have asked for. Fuji-san was visible like the whole day. I got like some incredible pictures and videos and stuff. Absolutely one of the most memorable days of my life. It was incredible. If you ever get the chance, I would recommend it. Plus, if you go in the winter, like December, like when we went, that is your best chance of seeing Fuji-san, because I guess there are the most clear days in the winter time. And like we went before it got too cold, so we didn't really have to worry about like snow and well, there was no snow, but we didn't have to really worry about like ice and things like that. Overnight, it did get below freezing. But by the time we were like out and about, I don't think there was much to worry about ice-wise. So like early December, if you ever want to do a Fuji road trip, early December, that's the ticket, I think, personally. I mean, obviously it's cold, but it's like so beautiful. And like you see all the fall leaves and oh man, gorgeous. Oh yeah, the other cool thing I wanted to mention about the GPS in the car is that as you're driving, especially on expressways, they tell you right on the GPS the service areas and rest stops coming up. So you could just click it and it'll just take you right there. Really cool stuff. Oh yeah, the other thing I totally forgot to mention. Before... Dang it. Okay, I don't know where that cut out, so I'm going to explain the whole Costco thing again. So before we did any of the Fuji stuff, we drove to Costco. I think the one we went to was in Kawasaki. And I don't know if you know, but if you have a Costco card, it works at any Costco in the world, which is pretty cool. Another reason to love Costco, right? And so we went, and they have like these giant, like flat escalators. It's kind of like at the airport, but they're slanted because the parking is actually on the roof. You know, in Japan, they're like stacking stuff up, right? Because they only have so much space, even in the suburbs. And it's really cool because when you push your cart onto it, there's like these mechanisms in the walkway that like come up and magnetically latch your cart onto the belt. That's some kind of magic, man. I don't know how it works, but it's really cool. So yeah, we went to Costco and it looks exactly like the North American one, but instead, obviously, everything inside is Japanese. Like they have tons of snacks, like jagariko in giant boxes, Japanese potato chips. I had a sample of, what do you call that? The super popular one, Ichiran. They had Ichiran ramen samples, which is so cool. They just have so much stuff there. And all the cosmetics and stuff are like Japanese, Korean, Asian skincare. They had the pear acne cream, which I was looking for at a really good price. Interestingly, some of the drugs are like need to be sold by the pharmacy. So some things that you buy, you have to go to the pharmacy to check out. And then they like check you out there and put it in a bag and tie it up. We got this cool Costco tote bag. It was like $5. And then we tried the food. There was so much food I wanted to try, but we only had so much room to try things. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the soft serve, the Hokkaido soft serve. I'm still kind of sad about that. But we got the Kyoho grape smoothie and we got the bulgogi bake. And I don't know if you guys know what bulgogi is. It's like a Korean marinated boneless meat, like beef. And so it's like thinly sliced. What they do is they like cook that, put it inside the chicken bake, and then put a bunch of cheese in it. So it's like you have this like pastry bread exterior, cheesy bulgogi inside, and it was so good. Like I've wanted to try this thing forever and finally got to try it, and it was really, really delicious. Also very large, very meaty and filling, which is why we couldn't try more stuff. I wanted to try like the margarita pizza. I wanted to try the Hokkaido soft serve. I wanted to try the salmon poke roll, but there's only so much stuff we can eat. And plus, that's how I was able to eat the tonkatsu, the katsudon at the service area. So, you know, no regrets, but I would like to go back to Japan's. But I would like to go back to the Japanese Costco and try more food and stuff in the future. Of course, they had a vending machine outside. Oh yeah, we did get an iced latte on our way out, which was nice. But again, a lot of ice. But it was good. It was great. And Japanese Costco, incredible. Japan, Costco, two of my favorite things. So, yeah, that was the whole trip there. And then we drove back in the morning to Haneda Airport so we could fly up to Hokkaido. Stopped at a service area on our way out and picked up some souvenirs and stuff, Fuji-san souvenirs. And then, yeah, the drive back was mostly uneventful, I would say. We did hit some Tokyo traffic in this like underground tunnel or whatever. But the good thing was we were going straight to the airport. So, you know, we avoided a lot of that like city traffic. Oh yeah, the ETC cards in Japan, the way they do toll roads is this thing called ETC cards. If you ever rent a car, just make sure you tick the box that says like, I need an ETC card, and you just leave it plugged in. So then that way when you drive through a toll road, you drive through slowly and the gate will just automatically open for you. And then once you return the rental car, you settle your toll roads bill there. It's all electronically calculated. So it's super convenient. Oh yeah, FYI, to rent the car for 3 full days with the full insurance and the option for studless tires, we got that in case we ran into icy roads, which like luckily we didn't. I don't know how likely that is in December, but it did get to below freezing overnight. Anyway, the total for that whole thing, including the toll roads, was roughly 30,000 yen, or like $200, which in my opinion, 1,000,000% worth it, totally worth it. The experience of a lifetime. So I would not hesitate to rent a car again in Japan. Once you get used to the driving on the wrong side of the road, and like all that stuff, it's not that bad at all. Like the drivers are much calmer than in the US, much more courteous, much kinder, and everybody follows the rules. People actually use the passing lane strictly for passing. Yeah, of course there's a couple people who are like get mad if you're driving too slow, but I think that's just like how humans are, especially like young kids and stuff, or angry guys. But in general, the people are much kinder on the road, much more forgiving, much more gracious. And like one thing I learned was when people merge in and you let them in, the sort of local custom was to turn on the hazard lights. Like they turn on their hazards as a way of like saying thank you, which was interesting. We do not do that here in any capacity. You only ever turn on your hazards here if you have an actual emergency. So that was interesting. So yeah, we returned the car to the airport branch of the Nissan Rent-A-Car, and they shuttled us to the airport. It's a shuttle technically, but it was literally just us two only. So that was nice. Private van ride over to the airport. And then, yeah, we were in the airport. We checked our luggage. Oh yeah, the cool thing about domestic flights in Japan, the liquids and the checked bag rules are incredible, amazing. Like, liquids in general, they don't really care. Like you can buy a bottle of water or whatever at the vending machine right before you go through security, and you can just carry it through. Like they just don't care. Like I think you do have to like separate your liquids so they can like look at them, but like it's just not a thing. Like of course they check internationally when you're flying internationally, but on domestic flights, they just don't care. You could buy a hot coffee and take it through, and they're like, okay, see ya. The other thing too, checked baggage, amazing policy. The policy, I think it depends, you know, obviously on your carrier. We flew ANA domestically, and I think the limit was 20 kilos total for economy. And what that means is they literally mean total weight. They don't care how many bags you check, as long as it's below the weight. So you could have like 10 bags that all weigh 2 kilos and check all of them, and you wouldn't pay anything. It's just part of your standard ticket, which I was like, what? That's incredible. I mean, it makes sense, you know, logically speaking, because when you have an aircraft, the main concern is weight, right? So it makes sense, but it's just like coming from America, what a gracious policy. I felt amazing taking advantage of that. And our flight there was really nice, very, very modern and new plane. And they had like these big HD screens, which was really nice. I just basically slept through that flight. It's a short flight anyway, only like an hour and a half or something like that. So we flew into Hokkaido, got there, took the train into Sapporo, which was kind of insane because we arrived there on a Saturday night, and our hotel is the Stream Hotel, which is located in Susukino, which is like Sapporo's downtown area. So it was like insanely busy, and we had like our luggage and stuff. But luckily we pared down our luggage and we only both had a carry-on. Still though, it was wacko town, banana pants, man. So many people, it was crazy. But we finally got there and we checked in, and the hotel was pretty cool. It's very nice and clean and modern and brand new. And, you know, it didn't feel as spacious, you know, coming from like these really beautiful houses in like Tokyo and in the Fuji area. But it was very nice for like Japan hotel standards, and quite large. Even though we got like the twin room or whatever, the beds were right next to each other, so you could just push the mattresses together and it became like one gigantic bed. But the view and the location, those two things made the hotel beyond worth it, because the windows were floor to ceiling glass windows, And we had this incredible view of downtown Sapporo. You see like the Ferris wheel and like all the busy intersections and all the lights and the Nika sign with the solitaire guy on it, and beautiful. I got so much beautiful footage from that hotel room. And the bathroom was reasonably nice. The tub was a little bit on the smaller side, but not small, just not large either. And free amenities and stuff. We had one problem with our sink. Our sink was like leaking out of the side, and so they like gave us a new room. It wasn't that big of a deal. Sapporo. What time is it? 1:24. I got like stuff to do because it's Christmas, so I'm just making sure I'm on schedule. I think we're good. So Sapporo in the winter time, early winter time. Wow. So many things happened. So the first day we were just like tired from like scrambling and driving around Fuji-san and blah, 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 blah. So we kind of like took it easy. The cool thing about our hotel is that it's literally inside of a mall. So there's like this giant many-story mall, and our hotel is basically at the top of it. So right below the first floor of our hotel was a movie theater. And then right below that was like a 4-story mall that had like a bunch of shops and restaurants. 5-story mall, actually, I think. 2 floors basically were dedicated to restaurants and dessert shops and stuff like that. And the rest of the floors were all like shopping and cafes and stuff like that. And then the basement floor had a grocery store and had like a bunch of other restaurants and like eating areas. And then, on the first floor of the building, in addition to all the shopping, was a Lawson convenience store, Konbini, which was really cool. It was like right before you're about to get on the elevator to go up to the hotel, there's a door on the side, and that door literally goes into Lawson. The door is Lawson. So it's like if you ever need to go to Lawson for any reason, you just take the elevator down and boom, Lawson right there. So that was really cool, incredibly convenient, especially when it was like so cold outside. And that's the thing about Sapporo, at least downtown Sapporo, is it's designed so that you can more or less just stay inside. And what I mean by that is like pretty much all the major roadways and like all the major shopping centers are connected by an underground passageway, like an underground walkway, which also connects to like the subway lines and stuff. So if you're staying sort of along the main areas, you don't really have to go outside much other than like a quick, couple minute walk to wherever you're trying to get to on the surface, which is like really, really, really convenient and amazing. But there is one caveat. Even though it may be like 0 degrees Celsius outside, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever, it's inside, it's like blazing hot. So in the underground passageway, in the shops, in the restaurants, in the malls, it's like 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like something Celsius. So it's like you're going from like literally freezing cold to like balmy summertime weather. And I like literally do not know how people do it there. I was starting to kind of figure it out on our last day. I basically just wore like light clothing. Like I wore like pants, a shirt, and a jacket, and that was it. When I would go outside, it would be cold. I brought my vest, my like down vest, so I could put that on as a layer when I went outside. But then like inside, I would take it off because it would be so hot. It's like, I'm not exactly sure how the locals deal with that. I'm sure you can like figure out a wardrobe if you like live there, but it's something you should be aware of if you go to Hokkaido in the winter. Cold outside, super, super, super cold outside, hot inside. Not even just like comfortable where it's like in the 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit range. It's like hot. But yeah, aside from that though, the whole experience was really amazing. And it was like that first day where we were kind of lazy. We didn't have to go anywhere. We like pretty much stayed in our hotel building the whole day because there's so much stuff to do, so many places to eat at, so many places to shop at. And then the next day we took the underground route and like went all over and did all this stuff. And yeah, man, it was amazing. We went to this, oh yeah, so we were trying to go to this Parfait place because in Sapporo there's this thing called Shime Parfait. Shime basically means like end or last or something like that. So the Shime Parfait is like the way you cap off your night. It's like you have a night parfait. You have a parfait before bed. And it's like, you know, it's cold. So it's like, of course, you could just load up on more calories because your body is like burning through it all. Allegedly. So we were trying to go to this parfait place and we were following Google Maps. And it took us like to the very end of this like shopping street, this Shotengai. And then like, we're like, what? It's like not here at all. We like checked the map and there's like this weird like arrow. Like it wants you to like jump like half a kilometer away. And we're like, what the heck is happening? So, you know, obviously it wasn't there, but I was like looking around and there was like this just like random guitar shop. I mean, it's not random, you know, it's a guitar shop, but for us it was random because we weren't looking for it. But one of the things I wanted to do on this trip was find a guitar strap because I don't have one, even though I have like 4 guitars. Yeah, I just play at home, but I've always wanted a strap for a long time. I just couldn't really ever find the right one. So I went in there. The shop is awesome. They have like so many guitars and it has this real like local energy and stuff. And they had a section for guitar straps. Well, they had a couple sections, but there was one where they were like clearly like a bit more interesting and like bespoke looking. And I found this one, it just like called out to me. It was like this very, very beautifully like woven, you know, fabric, and had these little like penguins on it, like these little emperor penguins. And I was like, this is it, this is the one. And then so I go and I pick it out and I go to, and like that also is cool, like Japan themed guitar pick section, which is really cool. And then I go and talk to the cashier, you know, the lady working there. And I was like, yeah, you know, like we just totally stumbled upon this place. And like, yeah, I'm speaking to her in Japanese. And I was like, I had no idea this place even existed. And I come inside and I see this guitar strap and I just like had to get it. It was like the perfect thing, you know, it was like fate. And she's like, oh yeah, she's like, I actually picked this guitar strap for our shop. It's made in Japan. All of these straps on the wall right here are from this one company and they hand make all of their straps in Japan. And I specifically picked this one out because I like this one. I want to sell it in our shop. And it was just like, it's fate, you know, as fate would have it. Just like incredible stuff. Where are we at? By the way, sorry this video is super long. I just have a lot to say, I guess. There's so much stuff that happened on this trip. So yeah, basically fate brought me to this Penguin-san guitar strap. And I don't know what else to say. It was fate. Sometimes the universe is trying to tell you something. You just gotta listen, you know? So anyway, we left the guitar shop and we actually found where this parfait place was located. I forgot what it's called, but I'll put it here. So this parfait place is like on another level, literally, actually, because it's kind of like a speakeasy. So you go there and when you get there, it like just looks like a dessert shop. I mean, like not a parfait shop. Like it looks like they just sell packaged sweets and things like that. But then like you walk inside and the guy's like, oh, for 2? And we're like, yes. And then like there's an elevator. So then you go over and he's like, okay, like, you know, hold on one sec, you know. And he has like a earpiece and he talks to him. He's like, oh yeah, two customers are here, you know. And then he gets like a conversation. He's like, okay. And then he like hits the elevator button. He hits the door and the elevator comes down and he's like, okay, go to the 2nd floor. And we're like, okay. So then the elevator goes up and it opens And then there's like a guy waiting for you right there. And he's like, oh, this way. And it's like this long bar. And it's like super elegant looking. And the whole place just has this really, really classy atmosphere. It really feels like you're at like a high-end bar, ready to indulge in some expensive whiskey or something. But it's like, well, they actually do sell alcohol there too, but the main thing they sell is parfaits. And so like their menu is all digital, so you scan a QR code, and like these parfaits, oh my god, I've never even seen anything like this. And this is even considering Japan's parfait standards. Like these parfaits are absolutely mind-blowing. It's like Michelin star parfaits. They're not actually literally Michelin star parfaits, but they're like on that level. Like everything is so curated and specifically thought out. And it's like there's all these different textures and flavors and fruits and wafers and ice creams and syrups and like all of this stuff. And like, you know, when you say it like that, it sounds like a lot, but like, you should be able to see it on screen right now, like what I'm talking about. Like these things are absolutely incredible, and like each bite and each flavor and each like different way of combining the different things in the dish give you different experiences the whole time you're eating it. And it's like incredible, amazing, splendorous, fantastic, jaw-dropping. Like I have never had a parfait like that before, and I feel like we'll never have one like it again until I go back to Sapporo and try some other Shime parfaits. Just flabbergasting. My flabbers were gasted completely. Absolutely gorgeous, spectacular, phenomenal dessert. Like, wow. From start to finish, I was stunned by the design of the place, by the whole speakeasy parfait bar concept, the elegant, you know, light jazz atmosphere. And then the parfaits themselves are so like elegant and meticulously crafted and thought out and planned. Like, wow, I wish I could have tried multiple. So yeah, that was incredible. And then let's jump ahead a little bit to the next day. Well, that night it started snowing, and it basically continued on through the next day. Well, it kind of stopped a little overnight, and then the next day it started snowing again. And by the time we were out there, which was I think like 10, 11 in the morning, it was snowing. Like, let me tell you, it was coming down out there. It was crazy. And we went through all of this frozen hell to get to this one very, very specific soup curry place. Now, if you don't know what soup curry is, if you've never heard of soup curry, it's actually a Hokkaido specialty. And they basically take curry and turn it into a soup form, in case the name wasn't obvious enough. But there are, just like curry in general, there are like many, many types of it, many different specialties, many different blends of like herbs and spices and everything like that. But this place we went to was featured on Japanese television. That's like how I found out about it, on YouTube. It's like was featured in this Japanese gourmet show, whatever. And they had like I don't know if it was saffron rice, but it was like a yellow rice and the soup curry. And we just walked through like the snow for the last 15 minutes, and we're like freezing, and we come in and it's like so warm and beautiful and comforting. And I got like level 15 spice, which was like just right for me. Like I like spice, and that was not too spicy for me, but it was beautifully spicy. Like not at all uncomfortable, just the right amount of spice to like really kick it, you know, into the back of my throat and make me feel alive, you know, especially when it's like literally snowing outside, like it's like coming down, you know. And the rice was beautifully fragrant, and it was loaded with like chicken and veggies and all sorts of different kinds of veggies. And the flavor of the soup was so deep and rich and beautiful. And it was literally one of the best meals I've had in my life. It was incredible. It was phenomenal, memorable, breathtaking. And I will be thinking about that soup curry for a long time, and I'll put the name here again. So yeah, it was totally worth trudging through the snow. Trudging is a little bit of an exaggeration, but it was worth all of the hassle of getting there. And then later that night, we had a reservation at this place that I saw on YouTube also. It's not called Robatayaki. Well, it is. It's called Robatayaki Utari. But Robatayaki is like a traditional Hokkaido method of grilling. And basically, the way that this restaurant is structured, and I think Robatayaki in general, but definitely the way this restaurant was like there was a large bar that wrapped around like a U shape, and in the center was this charcoal hearth that had a grill on the top of it, and the grill master grills everything, like literally everything on the menu is grilled on this one grill, this one charcoal hearth. So it does take a while to get your food, but the whole place is like a vibe. It has this super laid back atmosphere, super chill. You know, it's kind of like an izakaya, like you can order, you know, obviously a bunch of different drinks and stuff if you want. And they had a lot of different interesting specialties. Like they have these different fish that they like cure and roast, Hokkaido scallops. They have like tofu that's deep fried, and then later they roast it on the grill. You're supposed to eat it with like shoyu. We got the squid. We got the potato, special Hokkaido potato, buttered potato. Best potato of my life. They roast it right on the coals. Just this beautiful, chill, local atmosphere. A lot of people tried to come in, but they were booked. So if you want to go to this place, make sure you reserve it, because I don't even think you could ever walk in. Well, that's probably an exaggeration. There are probably times you could walk in, but the night we went, no, not at all. You had to have a reservation. Anybody that came in without one was turned away immediately. So yeah, it was like a very special experience. And like at the end of the meal, I like talked to the chef and I told her how like I saw her on YouTube and like how I really wanted to visit her shop ever since. And she was so kind and sweet and gracious. But when she's on the grill, man, she's like locked in. You could tell. Everything was delicious, and it was like, again, an unforgettable experience, totally memorable. And it was sort of funny because she played that Utada Hikaru song. I forget what it's called, but she only played it one time. So that's like the restaurant's theme song or something. She like played it one time on vinyl. She played the song, let it finish, and stopped it. And that was the only music that played the whole night. There were these foreigners that came in just as we were about to leave. And this girl has an Erewhon bag. I don't know if you guys know Erewhon. It's like this thing in LA. It's like a super expensive grocery store, whatever. And we were just like, oh boy. And they come in and they have all this trouble talking to the staff because they don't really speak Japanese. And like, it was a mess. But you know, they seemed to finally get it sorted out. And then as I was talking to the chef, I told her I was like from LA and stuff. And then the guy turns to me, he's like, oh, you're from LA? I was like, yeah. And he's like, I can understand just a little bit of Japanese and heard you're from LA. And I was like, yeah. Well, you know, a small world, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, where are you from? We chatted a little bit. And I was like, well, you know, you guys enjoy, you know, your meal. And we just kind of got out of there. But it was sort of funny because there was like this old Japanese guy sitting next to my wife with his wife. And when they come in, he's like so disapproving because they don't speak any Japanese and they're like all fumbling around. And then when he heard me talk to the chef, he's like, you know, he's like, approve. I got his stamp of approval because I like took the time to like learn Japanese and speak to the chef and everything. So that was funny. But yeah, it was an amazing experience because I mean, the traditional way of cooking in Hokkaido, and I think it's the oldest, if I'm correct, it's the oldest Robatayaki place in Hokkaido. And like I left them a good Google review and they responded. They like, she remembered me and everything, because the owner and chef, well, I don't know if she's the owner, but she's like the head chef. She does a lot of stuff. She does like the reservations. She seems to do the social media. She cooks a lot of the time. Sometimes she hands it off. She takes like orders, and she does a lot of stuff. So that was an amazing place. Also, while we were there, I ate a whole bunch of Hokkaido ice cream. Yeah, various times. Hokkaido gelato, soft serve, soft cream as they call it, etc. You got to do it. Zangi, which is their version of like karage or fried chicken. Super crunchy, very, very deeply flavored, ginger forward. Delicious. I love karage, and zangi got up there on my list for sure. One last very eventful thing happened while we were in Sapporo. So on our last night there, we're getting ready for bed. It's around 11:15 at night, and I get this notification on my phone, and it's like a big exclamation point, and it's all this Japanese writing. I'm like, oh. So then like I put it through the translator, and it says like, earthquake detected, like strong earthquake detected, expect shaking, like shelter in place or something like that. I was like, uh-oh. And we're like on the 13th floor of this building, and like we're just lying down in bed, and there's no furniture to speak of really, because it's just a hotel. And so like we just lie down on the bed and like put the pillows over our head and like hope for the best. And like the building is literally like swaying, you know. The best thing that I could compare it to would be like on a cruise ship on really rocky waters. Like it's like the whole thing was like swaying. It wasn't so bad that like stuff was falling off tables and off the walls and stuff, but it was like woo, and it lasted like a long time, like maybe 2 minutes. And we were just like freaked out the whole time. It was insane. And it turned out it was because there was a huge earthquake in Akita, which is like the northern prefecture of the main Japanese island. It was off the coast of that. And so we were not too far. By the time it hit us, it was like a 5 or 6 or something like that on the Richter scale. Japan uses like a bit of a different system. But yeah, it was intense. Like it was scary. And like we're high up in a building. You know, the only thing that was like in my mind was like I watched this documentary before about like how they build Japanese structures because they know about the earthquakes. And so I was like, it's okay, you know, this building is new, it's engineered specifically for this, like we'll be okay. But it was honestly terrifying, you know. But it was okay, you know. It wasn't even bad enough that like the hotel did not like issue any warnings. They didn't say anything. They just, once it was done, it was just done. And like they didn't have any alarms or sirens or anything like that. But man, it was scary like being in it, you know. So then it passed, and we looked up all the news outlets and stuff and looked up, you know, what to do. And basically they said, you know, you just have to stay in place and like don't rush out, because that's usually where injuries happen, is when people are like rushing to get out and things like that. But you know, luckily everything was fine. And then the next morning we got on our reserved bus and we drove over to Niseko, which is like a mountain region in Hokkaido. And it was super snowy. Like all of Sapporo was covered in snow. And we stopped at this rest stop, which was like out of an anime, man. It was just like covered in snow. I had these pictures that look so, I don't know, what do you call it? Aesthetic? Really beautiful, snow covered, isolated kind of feeling. And we get to Park Hyatt Niseko. It's gorgeous. What can I say? The property is pretty new. I think it was built like a few years ago, and it's just gorgeous. We ate lunch at the lounge. Again, floor to ceiling, but like the ceiling is super high. Floor to ceiling windows where you can see out into like the ski resort. Had a Hokkaido beef burger. My wife had the lasagna with Hokkaido cheese. Of course, everything's Hokkaido, you know. Oh yeah, our bus took us to the Hirafu Welcome Center, and then we took a taxi into the hotel. Not the most economic solution, but it wasn't too far, so it wasn't too expensive, and it was just removed all possible hassle. Plus, we don't have any like snow boots or anything like that, so we didn't want to risk like slipping and falling, and we're just not used to snow at all, or ice or anything like that. We're California, natives, or at least have lived here for so long. The coldest it gets here is like right around freezing, if that. Almost never snows, maybe once every 10 years or something, and that's just for like half a day. So yeah, totally different environment for us. Never been anywhere that snowy before. But yeah, we got to the Park Hyatt and it was awesome. They have this amazing amenity where it's like, as long as you have a room there, they give you a ski locker. So they have like ski in, ski out privileges, I guess, because the resort, like the ski area, is literally at the foot of the entrance and exit of the hotel. So they have this area where it diverges. Like if you ski the normal way, it goes back into where the lifts bottom out. If you ski the other way, it actually goes right into the front door. Well, they have different entrances, but it goes right into the front door of where the lockers are located. So you can literally ski right up to it, take your skis off. They have these air compressors, just blow off all the snow. Then you walk in and they have people there to help you. They'll like take your skis and bring them over for you and put them in the locker, etc. I tried to snowboard into that area, but it was like really narrow and I suck at snowboarding. So I just ended up getting off my snowboard and walking. But it was still very, very convenient to literally just like walk into the locker room. The room, gigantic. We didn't even have a special room. We used our credit card points to book it, and we booked the like lowest tier room. But the lowest tier room at the Park Hyatt Niseko is a suite. That's literally the lowest room they even have available. And it was gigantic. It was massive. Bigger than our house at home. So that was a lot of fun. Very fancy. We got room service a bunch of times because it's like, why not? We're already here. And like, there's not a lot. Basically, when you're at the Park Hyatt Resort, you need to take the shuttle into Hirafu if you want like other activities. But like when you're at the Park Hyatt itself, everything's sort of self-contained. They have multiple restaurants in the property. They have room service. They have the ski resort right there. But like the main Hirafu area is actually a little bit of a bus ride or car ride away. So we just pretty much stayed there the whole time. And the first night we had a reservation at their Chinese restaurant called China Kitchen, which surprisingly was very authentic tasting and delicious. And sure, a little bit on the pricey side, but they use very, very high quality ingredients. And it was amazing. And then the next day I went snowboarding. That was incredible. I wasn't really sure what to do at first because this is only my like second time snowboarding, and their like magic carpet, which is like the small little lift area, was like broken, so I couldn't use it. But I like am a proficient like skateboard longboarder. So I was like, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and was like prepping for this, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the lift ticket and just go up the smallest green run they have, and I'm just gonna do it. And I did. And it was fine. Sure, I fell sometimes, whatever. That's how it goes. But it was cool. Like by the end of the day, I was able to do a few turns, not a lot, but a couple. And the morning though was really, really beautiful. A lot of fresh snow, fresh powder. Really, really nice. Obviously I wasn't skilled enough to fully take advantage of it. But it actually has a gondola up. That's how fancy this place is. On the green run, it's a gondola. It's not even a hooded lift. They do have hooded lifts, but this one was a straight up gondola. Like you don't ride onto it. You take off your skis or snowboards. They have a bucket outside to put your skis into, or if you have your snowboard, they put a little like fabric cover thing on your snowboard, and you take it inside the gondola with you, and you just put it right there, and it's totally enclosed, and it takes you right up. And earlier in the day was better. The snow quality was better. There were less people. As the day went on, it got icier and there were more people. It was a lot busier. It was harder to navigate around all the beginners and stuff. But hey, I was a beginner too. And I had a blast, honestly. And because it was located so close to the hotel, all I did when it was lunchtime was I skied into snowboarded up and then fell, and then took it off and walked up to the ski in, ski out lockers, put myself in the locker, walked up to our room, had katsukuri room service for lunch, and then went back out and hit the slopes for a little while, and then came back up and then had tea time. We booked a tea time in advance. They partner with Pierre Hermé there, so everything was like really fancy, and it was really nice and really tasty and very beautiful. Yeah, Park Hyatt, man. If you have the points or whatever, it's worth it. Totally worth it. But yeah, went to their onsen, have a couple funny stories there. The first one was that when I walked into the onsen for the first time, there's like this big room with like lockers. And then like there's like this old woman, this bachan there, and she's like cleaning up the place. And I was like, am I supposed to undress when this like bachan is here? But like I didn't know what else to do. So I like took off my sweatshirt. You know, I didn't take off like my underlayer clothing, but I took off my sweatshirt, and then she's like, oh, she's like in Japanese, she's like, inside there are more lockers. And I was like, oh, I was like, sorry. And she's like, no, it's okay. And it turns out those lockers were just for your shoes. Then you go inside and there's the whole like undressing area. So that was kind of funny. Luckily I didn't like flash this bachan or anything. So we went inside. I went inside, and then the onsen was really nice. They actually had pretty large baths. They have two different baths that one's at 40 degrees Celsius and one's at 42 degrees Celsius. They have a small cold bath, and then they have a sauna. And of course they have like shower stalls and stuff. Couple stories about that. Oh yeah, so the funny story is about this like white guy. I don't know if he was like American or like European, but he's like this pretty tall, white guy. And like this was the second day after I went snowboarding. I went around 6 p.m., which was like the perfect time because that's dinner time. So like almost nobody was there. When I got there, there was one guy in there, and then he left. So I was there by myself. So I went in the hot bath, and I was just like chilling there. And by this time, this is my second time in the onsen. So I knew that if I wanted to go into the sauna, I needed to go into the cold bath first. Otherwise I like overheat. So I'm sitting in the hot bath, and then I go over to the cold bath, and I'm like, you just gotta do it. So I like go in the cold bath, and of course it's like freezing. I went from like a 42 degree bath into like I don't even know, like 2 degrees. Like it's really, really, really cold. It's a really cold bath. And it's like freezing cold, and I just like commit, and I just like sit all the way inside the bath, like up to my neck kind of, and I'm just sitting there, and like for like maybe 30 seconds to a minute, it's like really cold. But then like the whole experience like shifts, and it becomes this like zen experience, and it's almost like you're just like tripping out there, just like sitting, and it doesn't even feel cold anymore. It's like it's not really, it's difficult to describe, but it's like a otherworldly existence. You like transcend this plane of existence. And so I'm sitting there, and then this guy like walks in, and obviously he's a foreigner. Like I think this might be his first time in an onsen ever. And he looks over at me, and I'm just like sitting there in the cold bath, like a small cold bath just by myself. And he's like, hello. And I'm just like, I'm like looking away like this, and I look over and I just go like, like I don't say anything. Like I'm not here to like talk to people in the bath. I don't know if you are, but that's not my thing. I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm just like sitting there in the cold bath. And then he goes into the hot, like the 40 bath, and he's like, he's like making all this noise, and he's like, you could hear him like kind of waving around the water, like trying to deal with it because it's like too hot. And I'm just like sitting there like in the cold bath, and I like look at the clock, and I was literally sitting there for like five actual minutes. Like I was just sitting there for like 5 minutes in this freezing cold bath. And then like I get out, and then immediately go into the sauna. And then again, I'm in the sauna for like 5 minutes. I'm doing like the same thing. I'm just like letting the experience like overtake my entire brain. And then I come out, and then I like rinse off, And then I go into the 42 bath. I'm sitting there, which is like super hot, and I'm just like watching the snow outside, which was incredible. It was incredible to watch the snow flurries on this like beam of light, because their architecture and their design is like gorgeous there. So I'm like watching this beam of light, the snow just like hit this solitary tree, and I'm like sitting there in like 42-degree water. I'm just like sitting there. And then like, I'm not watching there, but I can hear him because he's the only other guy in there. So he like goes into the sauna, and then probably only like 30 seconds passes by, and he goes out and he's like, oh, you know, he's like, he doesn't say anything. He's not talking to anyone. I'm not talking to him. He's just like, oh, you know, it's like way too hot. And then he tries to go in the cold bath, and he's like, oh, and he goes in there, and it's like super freezing cold, and he gets out again after probably like 30 seconds. So like, all I'm thinking is like, he's probably like, what is the deal with these Japanese guys? Like, how can they handle all this like crazy temperature fluctuations? But you know, this is like I'm not a stranger to onsen by this point. So I was like really, you know, maximizing my time and the resources there. So then, you know, I go in, and then like I'm getting ready and stuff. And then the terrible story happens when like, as I'm like doing my post-bath routine, you know, cleaning my face, like moisturizing, shaving, everything, this family comes in, and they're like so loud. And if you know Japanese culture, that is not how you do it. Like, they clearly were not Japanese, they were foreigners. They were speaking some kind of Chinese. I'm not trying to say any broad sentiment about different ethnicities, but this family in particular they were not following the mannerisms or customs whatsoever. I'm so glad I was done with my bath, because they run in there, like literally like run in, and they have like 2 or 3 kids, and you hear like they're like blowing bubbles in the water, and it's like, no, that's not allowed, you know. They're like singing, like being super loud. And then they come out of the bath, and they like grab a towel, and they like throw the towel on the ground. The kid's like rummaging through all the toiletries, the free toiletries and stuff, just like combs his hair and just like throws it. And he just like, they just like leave a total mess. And it was like, oh my God, this is like an upscale hotel. We're in Japan. Like, come on. Like, I'm not expecting that you know everything, but like, there's like zero class, zero manners whatsoever, you know? But yeah, I'm glad that like it didn't really affect me, because I was pretty much done with everything. I was just like in my own little bubble at that point, you know? I don't know. That's kind of the double-edged sword with like the Park Hyatt, with like the luxury properties, is it's like 90% foreigners, 90% tourists. So they don't really understand how the Japanese culture works, how the customs work, all the rules and things like that. And like, if you are a foreigner and you don't care either, then it's like perfect for you, because you don't have to worry about any of that. But like, if you're there for a Japanese experience, like, you're not really gonna get it, you know? It's nice because you don't have to speak Japanese. Everyone speaks whatever language you come in with. English, Chinese, French, German, whatever. If you speak a language, they'll have someone on staff that speaks it. But like, at least, you know, within reason. But like, you know, it's by no means an authentic experience. It's a very, you know, luxury tailored experience. Yeah. So yeah, the food in general at the Park Hyatt, I would say, was a wide range. The breakfast stuff I got, like the omelet, was pretty meh. Like, it was okay, but I don't think it was worth the price. It wasn't super expensive, but I don't think it was worth it. China Kitchen was excellent, like very good, like luxury dining, worth the price. The room service was a range. Like, the ramen I got was very good, but it wasn't cold, but it was only like warm. Like, it wasn't hot at all by the time I ate it. The zongi, the fried chicken, was actually hot and fresh and crisp and very, very good. The burger was pretty good. It was, you know, okay to pretty good. The lasagna was also okay to pretty good. Katsu curry was like pretty good, not anything fantastic. It's a bit of a mixed bag on the food. I get with room service, you kind of just have to take it for what it is, because you're not getting the food directly out of the kitchen. It has to go be put on the tray and everything. They have to bring it up to your room. So you're always going to sacrifice something with room service. But I don't know how the other dining options were. We didn't want to eat too much at their fancy restaurants because they're very, very pricey. And I mean, we booked the place with points, so we're not rich or anything. But some of the food was very good. Some of the food was just okay. And some of the food was like pretty good, worth the price. The afternoon tea was worth it. All the food was really good, really fancy. The teas were very nice. Yeah. Overall though, aside from the food, aside from the kids in the bath, the experience at the Park Hyatt Niseko was phenomenal. The entire building, the entire property is gorgeous. Beautiful architecture, seeing it all in the freshly, powdered snow, riding the snow down, riding the lifts, renting equipment, the people, the staff. We met this one guy named Jobert. Incredible service, really, really top-notch, 5-star service all the way around. So no faults there. And I mean, to book it for like free with points, no brainer. If you get the chance, which admittedly it is a stretch, not everyone, let's face it, most people won't get the chance. But if you get the chance to book Park Hyatt Niseko and you can go and you can fly to Hokkaido in the wintertime, it's worth it. That's all I'll say, especially if you can do it with points so you don't have to pay for the room. It's really, really, really beautiful and a top tier experience all the way around. Okay, so that's basically clears the first 2 weeks. Yeah, so then the last week we flew back into Tokyo, which was like kind of a huge headache because we're waiting for our flight and we're like, well, let's just wait until there's only 30 minutes to our flight to check in case there's a delay, which we were pretty sure there would be delays because many of the flights earlier in the day were delayed. So surprise, surprise, there was a delay, but they don't tell us until literally 15 minutes before our scheduled departure. So we already went through security and it like sucks because New Chitose is like this beautiful airport. It's like a gigantic mall full of shops and eating and restaurants and desserts and snacks and specialty omiyage and like all this stuff. But of course, once you get past security, there's just like a few things. There's like a konbini, there's a couple restaurants, and that's pretty much it. A few different omiyage shops. So it's like, once you're past security, there's not really anything to do. And then they didn't tell us our flight was delayed until right before it was supposed to take off. And they did that again 3 more times. So every hour would pass by and they're like, oh, your flight's delayed. And then we finally get into Tokyo. It's like almost midnight. We catch basically the literal last train in to our hotel. And then we finally check in and we're just like totally exhausted. It's another thing to factor into your winter Hokkaido plans. Basically expect delays on your flights. Because it's snow, man. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't blame anyone for what happened. It was just very inconvenient. So yeah, our last place was, like I said, Oakwood in Azabu, and it's like a sort of a higher end part of Tokyo. It's right near Roppongi, Ginza, Azabudai Hills, which is like this nice new fancy shopping center, which we were like walking distance to. So we went there a few times. It's really, really beautiful. Amazing architecture. There was like a Christmas market going on. And then, yeah, we just went like all over Tokyo our last week, exploring, shopping. Went to Akihabara for the first time, believe it or not, even though this is our 3rd trip to Japan, which was amazing. If it was me 15 years ago, I would have lost my freaking mind. Nowadays, I'm not like a hardcore gamer or otaku or anything like that. So, a lot of the new anime I don't even know anything about. But it was really cool seeing all the stuff, all the games, retro games, consoles, figures, merch, an endless amount of merch, and just like rows and rows and floors of stuff, just like stuff everywhere. I got my ears cleaned by an ENT. I have this recurring problem once a year or so where I get like earwax buildup, and I woke up one day and basically couldn't really hear out of my right ear. So I found this place online. They said the doctor speaks English. I scheduled an appointment an hour before, showed up on my appointment time, waited roughly 30 minutes, got seen. He had a whole array of tools and like cameras and looked in my ear, pulled out the wax, no problem. Very, very gentle, very kind, had all the right tools, pulled out this giant log of earwax out of my ear. It was probably like that big, you know, I don't know. It was huge. And my other ear he cleaned out too. I could hear so amazingly well that it was like my whole sensory perception had changed. And the whole thing cost about 4,000 yen, even with no insurance. Japan, man. I feel like it would have cost me more than that, even with insurance here in the US. So yeah, that was incredible. I literally woke up, had the issue, had it taken care of by like 11 a.m. Then we ate lunch at Savoy Pizza. Best pizza of my life. The first time I had it, best pizza of my life. This time I had it. Incredible, beautiful, delicious pizza. So good. Azabudai Hills, like I mentioned, was beautiful. Yeah, just a lot of like shopping, running around, buying gifts and stuff. Beams Shinjuku is a great place to go for gifts. But yeah, I'm sure I could talk more about that in vlogs and stuff. I think the biggest eventful things sort of happened in the first 2 weeks. We met up with my wife's other family from the Philippines, which was nice. We went to Percent Arabica. This, you probably heard of it. It's like this fancy coffee shop that's all around the world. And surprisingly, it was actually very affordable. It was only like 500 yen for a latte, 600 yen, something like that. And there was this funny girl where she was there by herself, and I think she saw that I had my camera and stuff, and she had her own camera, and she asked me to like take pictures of her for her friends. So that was like funny. She was like this cute shy girl. She's like, is it okay? Can you take a picture of me? And she had like a whole photo shoot at Percent Arabica. Yeah, and then, you know, we went home, and the last flight was pretty nice. We sat in the middle because it was 333, and we didn't want to have to go over anyone who went to the bathroom. And luckily for us, nobody sat in the third seat, so we had the whole row to ourselves. And brand new, modern plane, large screen, good stuff. One thing was the guy in front of me was like all weird and being all funky, but what are you gonna do? Food was actually pretty good. First time flying JAL Japan Airlines, and honestly, I don't think I will ever go back. We gotta fly Japanese airlines in perpetuity now when we go to Japan. The experience is so much better, the food is so much better, the service is so much better, you have much more room. It's just better all around, just better. So if you're gonna go to Japan, fly JAL or fly ANA, I would recommend that. Obviously, if you can afford it. Yeah. So, in a nutshell, that was the trip to Japan. Obviously, a lot of things happened. So many things I can't really talk about, but those were like all the major highlights in this like 2-hour long video. I want to do a recorded video because I knew if I did like a live stream, it would take me forever and I would like ramble a lot, which I already did now. But at least this way I can like insert clips and, you know, make it look nice and edit it down and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're still with me, thank you. I know this is like a super long video, but I wanted to just sort of do like this huge, massive brain dump while it was all still fresh in my mind, because I knew that like once the Christmas season passes and I have all these new memories of family and friends and stuff, that a lot of this stuff is gonna sort of like roll out and like I'm gonna forget a lot of it. Apologies for the length, but if you're still with me, thank you again, like I said. Yeah, so this last part is not going to be long though. I just want to kind of talk about what's been going on and like why there were so few videos. I always talk about that because that's always how it is. I'm trying, you know, like I'm really, really trying. Like, it's like I have this commitment to the channel, to this craft, to this artistry, that like I need to make things that like matter to me and are significant and hopefully, you know, are of high quality and are human made, you know, No AI, no generation, none of that stuff. I just do everything by hand. I shoot everything, I film everything, I cut everything, I edit everything, I write everything, I say everything, I speak everything. Everything is all just done by me by hand, and that's why it takes forever. And I wish I could do things a little bit faster, but then it's there's ups and downs with life and busyness and all this stuff. And I've had these other ideas for ventures of stuff I want to do in the future. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about the whole thing right now, but I guess just to say it, just so it's out there. I've been working on these t-shirt designs inspired by Mushin, inspired by the Perfect Days video. And I know on some level it feels hypocritical or paradoxical to try and profit off of the idea of removing yourself from that sort of materialism. But the philosophy behind these designs is just things that I have wanted to make for a long time that showcase and utilize my artistry and my skills, and are also good, reminders of how we can live every day. And obviously the bonus is that it helps support the channel because there's not a lot thus far. I am deeply in gratitude to those of you who have and continue to support the channel. But if I'm going to continue this whole thing, we need more revenue streams if we're going to make this work. So that's the whole t-shirt thing. I'll explain a lot more about that in the future when it's farther along, but I need to apply for permits and stuff and blah blah blah, and it's going to be a whole thing, so that's going to take a little while. But basically, in addition to continuing to make vlogs and other content and figuring out how I want to do video essays, I do have a very, very large scale sort of master project in the works as far as video essays are concerned. But again, that's going to take a little bit of a while to come out because it's a very concerted effort, which leads me into also that ambient 4-hour video that I made, which I think probably some of you watched a little bit of. So I worked on that 4 hours aesthetic Japan travel. And that was very, very, very much so a huge passion project. I spent unlimited amounts of time and effort editing that thing. And, part of it is that's just something I wish that I had. I wanted to put together this amazing master reel of my favorite and most aesthetic shots of my Japan travels, which is why that's volume 1. I want to keep making more of those, but that's not what the channel is gonna be only about. I want to make the more of those just in farther intervals, maybe every few months or something like that. And part of the reason is because I just want to make them, and I think they're very calming and peaceful and good things to have to put in the background when I'm doing stuff, or for you to have when you're doing stuff like studying or reading, or just chilling, or an ambient video to put in the background at gatherings or things like that. But also the other part is again, like I mentioned before, another way to support the channel. So I don't know if you guys are aware at all, but the way that YouTube's monetization works is if you have a longer video, that means there's more ad slots, obviously. And in general, even if you're a YouTube premium user, however their tokenization system works, the creator gets more revenue for longer videos. And so I'm hoping to sort of cut into that niche of chill, long, relaxing ambient videos that people leave on in the background, and that can help be a big source of revenue for the channel. Thus far, no, not at all. It's even less popular than my regular videos, but that was more or less expected. I didn't think that it would do well right away, and it hasn't. But, I hope in the future that it can kind of catch on to the right, hit that right niche and sort of get recommended in the algorithm by more people. But yeah, if you ever want to support the channel without, like directly supporting it, that is a really good way. You know, like throw that up in the background. You can even like mute it and just like play your own music or something like that. But yeah, that's one of the new avenues I have to kind of increase the you know, financial backing of this channel, because as much as I, you know, want to keep making and creating things that are like meaningful and also fun and interesting for everybody, it's, you know, like we need ways to support the channel financially, or this whole thing is just not going to work, you know. And so I'm trying to do, you know, different things and find different ways to do that. And of course, like ideally it would be like I just make whatever video I want, and then like, you know, it would be enough to sustain my ventures. But, you know, I'm not PewDiePie, you know, I'm not like Mr. Beast or whatever. Like it's tough, you know, struggling artist stuff. Like it's like I just make things that I feel like are important. And you know, for you watching this, you probably feel somewhat of the same too, because you're still watching it. But you know, most people don't feel that way, because that's just the way content works in the modern world. You know, it's like most people are on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts or whatever, and they just want to watch like a 30-second brain rot thing. And you know, I'm not saying that's bad or wrong or anything. I do the same thing, you know. I mean, I don't use TikTok, but it's like, you know, whatever, it's like memes and low effort content, and you know, it's just what's popular, it's what makes money, it's what gets clicks, it's what gets advertisers, blah blah blah. But it's like I'm trying to keep this channel ad free. I'm trying to make things that are important to me. I'm trying to keep sponsors out of it, you know. All it is sponsored by is like viewers like you. Like, thank you so much to everybody who has sponsored this channel. Thank you to the people who continue to sponsor the channel. I know it can be tough, especially because I don't post that frequently, and it seems like I'm trying to do stuff on Patreon, I'm trying to do stuff on YouTube, I'm trying to do like new stuff, and there's the Discord and the Instagram, and it's like just like very little slices of everything, and I don't really do a lot in any of them. And it's like I said, it's just all a solo venture, and I'm honestly just doing the best that I can. And you know, right now it's like a low time. I haven't been posting anything really. I was just traveling, and you know, I don't really have a lot to show for it content wise, at least recently. And you know, it's a low time, and publishing this video right now means probably not a lot of people will watch it, and even less than normal people will be at this point that are still watching it. But hey, you know, that's the game, and that's what I committed to, and that's what I continue to commit to. And I'm just trying to do something out here that hopefully means something for you guys out there. I'm just trying to make whatever's real, you know, for me. Like reality is subjective, you know. What people think is real, what people think is important, what people think matters is totally subjective. But I'm trying to make what's real to me, and hopefully that comes across, you know, as real to you. And why does it even matter if it's real? I don't know. I can't answer that. That's like a very difficult question to answer, but all I know is that it's important to me. And I feel like if you're a fan of this channel, it's important to you too. And I feel like I have to do right by both of us as the creator of things that continue to exist on this channel. So yeah, that's my huge, long, super mega video. It's like 2 hours long. And yeah, I hope that it was interesting. I hope it was entertaining. I hope that you saw some beautiful footage of Japan. It was the most up and down trip yet, but as always, it's only been a few days, and I just want to go back, man. Like, so many things are just better there. I know it would be different if I like lived there and had to deal with the culture and the work culture and the claustrophobia and everything, but it's like, you know, you come back here and so many things just seem so fundamentally broken and expensive, you know? Again, I know it would be expensive if I lived there too, but I don't know. It just feels like at least a little better that you can go out and get a wholesome, filling meal for like $5. That's like, it's just impossible here. You just can't. It doesn't exist, you know? Anyway, I'm glad to be home though. You know, home is nice. We've built our home in a way that's conducive to our living style. So there's a lot of niceties and amenities here that I appreciate, and I'm glad to be back in my own bed and have my own TV and my own computer and things like that. And just not be like dealing with the hassle of traveling. You know, like my wife always says, the worst part of traveling is the traveling. Like getting to places, checking in, packing up, like that stuff is such a hassle, man. It would be great if I could ever make enough money that we could take long-term trips to Japan. That's sort of like the dream, you know, just like the Salmon Victor I talked about earlier. Like if we could go to Japan for like 2 months, that would be like the ultimate. Like I would really feel like I've made it as a content creator or whatever. So yeah, there's plenty more stuff I could talk about like what happened back then and everything, and why the videos were sparse and I was kind of depressed and stuff. But you know, that's not where I'm at now, and I have a lot of stuff to do, and this video is like super long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here. Maybe I'll do another update like after the holidays, kind of reflect on them and what's been going on and what's coming up next for the channel, and talk more about the t-shirts and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're interested at all in the t-shirts, let me know. If you want to support the channel, the 4-hour ambient video is a great place to go. Patreon, of course, but like I hesitate to even advertise it because I just haven't posted anything there lately. I still am, it's still a real thing, and I very much so am dedicated to creating content there too. It's just, I've been like stretched so thin these past couple of months, and I think after the holidays, after the new year, I'm just gonna try and, you know, just get back up to speed slowly, you know, get back into running, get back into editing and making videos and vlogs and finishing Tim in Japan season 2 and Tim in Europe, and eventually we'll get to Tim in Japan season 3, you know, and ambient whatever. And you know, I just so many projects. Like I feel like I always keep starting new things. I haven't finished old things, and it's like blah, 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 blah. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I think by the time you're seeing this, it'll already be after the holidays, so it doesn't really make sense to wish you a happy holidays, but it'll probably be sometime shortly after the new year. So happy new year, guys. I hope that this year is much better than the last year, because last year was a real slog in a lot of ways. But thank you all so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for being around. Thanks for listening to this right now, because it means you made it through this Goliath of a video. Wow. I hope that it felt faster than its runtime. I hope that it was interesting and not just like way too much yapping. I mean, it was way too much yapping either way, but I hope at least you got something interesting out of it. I mean, the trip was phenomenal. Again, a lot of ups and downs, you know, a lot of issues on this trip that didn't really happen in previous Japan trips, but I think it's just because you're just so much more ambitious and doing a lot more things. And now I know better for next time what to do better. That's life, right? You go and you mess up and you fix it and you do it again, and hopefully better the next time. But yeah, I'm really gonna call it now. That's my audio timestamp is 2 hours and 22 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna cut it. Hopefully I can get this under 2 hours at least. It's gonna be a lot of editing, but yeah, well, yeah, that's how it goes. So thank you guys again. Really, really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate everything. Appreciate all of your support. It's really only because of you watching this video that I can continue to make videos like this. So thank you. I hope this was a good catch-up session, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.